Good afternoon and welcome to the collective Ask the Expert session. Today I am joined by Christian Harris, who is the founder of Slip Safety Services. Hi Christian, how are you?
Hi Guy, yeah, thanks for having me. I'm very well, thanks. Good to be here.
Excellent. No, yeah, thanks for coming on. So clubs in England, at least, opened last weekend or today, or are now allowed to open.
Yeah.
And other clubs are open around the world. So we thought we'd get Christian on to have a chat about cleanliness.
Everyone's favourite topic.
Well, it certainly should be at the moment. So yeah, we've got a few questions from other people in the collective. But let's kick off just with a bit of background in terms of how you came to found or form Slip Safety Services. What makes you an expert, Christian?
Well, some kids grow up wanting to be astronauts and other kids want to be racing car drivers, and I just wanted to clean floors for a living. No, that's not true. What I'm really passionate about is safety and stopping people from having slips, which is the biggest cause of accident in leisure and other sectors. But a key component of that, as I discovered when I got involved in this world about 10 years ago, is cleaning and maintenance. And actually, it's really quite interesting what you see across all different sectors, and it's fantastic to be able to help people to dramatically improve the customer experience and the standards that they're able to deliver. So I have become quite passionate about this. As I say, I've been doing this for about 10 years and helped all sorts of companies in the leisure sector, from high-end 5-star hotels and private clubs all the way through to schools and local authorities and everything in between.
Cool. So there's a focus. I mean, in the company name, it's focused in slip safety, but obviously the focus at the moment is much more on cleanliness, which we all know is very important. But I've been talking to quite a few clubs lately. They've been talking about doing deep cleans, and I personally don't go into the question, but let me put it to you. What is a deep clean? What should clubs be doing for a deep clean?
Good question. It's a bit of a bugbear of mine. I think I was a management consultant before I got involved in this world, and so precision has always been quite high on my list. It might be easier to say what is a deep clean not, because actually the definition of a deep clean, might mean something totally different to you or to me. But I mean, what it isn't in the context of a leisure centre is sending 5 or 6 lifeguards onto the poolside to do a few hours at the end of the shift, and scrubbing with their blue brushes and not making any discernible change or impact on the standards or the safety. So I think therefore, conversely, what it is actually doing things in a more thorough way, and ideally in a quantitative way. So trying to measure the outcomes. So the difference between a deep clean and a daily clean is really attention to detail, the depth to which you're going, and the amount of contamination, I suppose, you're removing from the surface. And why is that important? Well, it's really important at the moment because you can't sanitize or disinfect a surface effectively unless it's clean, and therefore you've got to be removing contamination and soiling from a surface before you can make it safe hygienically.
Okay, so putting hours and hours and elbow grease into a clean is not necessarily a deep clean.
Not necessarily, because actually you can you can potentially do it in a tenth of the time with the right piece of equipment and the right chemical. So I think it's people's reaction instinctively is, we're going to put elbow grease into this and throw people at the problem. But actually you might end up wasting time, because you can throw labor at a problem, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it properly, and therefore you're just kind of throwing labor at something that isn't going to work. So I think it's actually about taking a step back and understanding, well, what outcomes are we trying to achieve? Which of those outcomes can we measure? And therefore, can we figure out a process which is as quick and efficient and easy as possible that's going to achieve those outcomes?
Okay. And in terms of a question we've got from the collective is, do you recommend any products? You talked about, using the right, the right thing for the right job.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't recommend any products specifically, but there are a range of good products out there. I think when it comes to leisure, 85–90% of clubs have historically been in a pretty good condition of cleanliness, is my opinion. Where I find that clubs struggle is in the wet and the barefoot areas, so the showers, the changing rooms, and the pool sides and things like that. So I think there are a plethora of products available for those kind of easier bits of the club. Say easy because it's easier cleaning. It's still time consuming, but your gyms and studios and things like that. When it comes to kind of cleaning the harder parts of the club, I mean, I was involved in a business called Bonner Systems. They've got good products. I wouldn't turn around and say they don't have good products now that I no longer work there. There's a company called ServoChem who have good products for deep cleaning. In Science, quite good products. There's a company called Feeler who don't do much commercially, but their products are available in sort of tile shops and places like that. They've got good products for deep cleaning. So there are good products out there. But I would say that there are a number of products that aren't very good, probably, many, many more. So if you Google degreaser, for example, there's 14 million results.
Right.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that, I've spent hours in kitchens, trying product after product after product after product with cleaning companies and whatever. And they might all say degreaser on them, doesn't mean that they all actually do what they say on the tin. So I think the key thing is, get some product in from your regular supplier and just try it out and put it under some rigor to see whether it actually works. If it does, great. If it doesn't, we'll try and find something else. Okay.
And in terms of what works and what doesn't, there's a lot of people that are fogging their facilities. What's
Another bugbear.
What's your view on fogging?
So I think the key thing here is to understand what fogging is and what it isn't. So there's two types of fogging or fumigation or whatever that are being used. There's fogging and there's electrostatic spraying. And neither of these processes cleans anything. All they are methods of applying, sanitizing or disinfecting chemical onto surfaces in a more quick and efficient and even way. So they're great. We use them. We use those methods, but only after we've done a very thorough physical, manual, deep cleaning process to all surfaces, because until you've done that, then those methods of application won't work. So what I'm seeing a lot of is, and what I'm a bit concerned about is clubs, saying, oh, we're electrostatically cleaning. Well, no, you're not, because that doesn't clean. Or people are going in and selling, sort of unscrupulous companies are going in and selling fogging as a service, and they're just selling fogging and claiming that that's going to solve everyone's problems, which it doesn't. So it's just, again, understanding, getting into the detail of what these things are doing and what they aren't doing, and just having a bit of a common sense approach, I suppose. If somebody's coming in with this magic product or service that sounds like a panacea, it probably isn't.
Yeah, particularly going back to the timing thing, I guess if it seems like a quick fix, fogging, for example, there is a place for it. It does treat surfaces, but it's not cleaning them.
No, and it's fine, because there's a place for it. And I've been saying to clubs, it might be worth you investing in one of these machines, because actually it's going to speed up various aspects of that process. But you can't do just that. You need to do the cleaning bit first.
Yeah, so it's maybe setting members' minds at ease if they see people doing it, because it is an action people are taking.
And it's similar to deep cleaning. So not just in leisure, but in other sectors as well. We're seeing we're going to deep clean every day, or we're doing enhanced cleaning, or whatever it might be.
Yes.
I think I prefer the use of the wording enhanced cleaning, but a lot of this is about perception, isn't it? And just giving peace of mind to members. But obviously what you've got to be careful about is, in the event of anything bad happening, and any investigation into your practices and processes, that you need to be able to stand behind them. And that's where people might fall down.
Yeah, so a bit likening it to GDPR, if there has been a breach, but you have some, well-written rules. This is what we do. This is how we do it. Hopefully that will back you up a little bit more. So
I mean, we work with a number of law firms, and they're already seeing, not from leisure, because obviously we've only been open a couple of days, but across different sectors, they're already seeing a number of insurance claims, personal injury type claims coming through. Which are kind of hygiene and COVID related, ranging from stress of going back to work and it's all different, and I've been asked to do these things, through to I've got the virus at work and I think it's my employer's fault, and all of this stuff is, some of these cases are going to end up in court, and the likelihood is it's going to come down to an expert sort of testimony kind of question. So the judge is going to be calling an expert in, and somebody like me or whatever, if it's this kind of case, and they're going to be saying, well, is fogging on its own any good? Well, no, it's not, and therefore you're just you're going to not be in a great position. So just going that level deeper into this to get it right is definitely worthwhile.
So going back to the members' perception and this, oh, we do a deep clean every day, or we've done a deep clean, how can clubs describe that better to the members to say, we've done a deep clean, which means we've done this, this and this?
Yeah, I think it's going into detail. I think what some clubs have been doing is doing videos as well. Okay. It's a difficult balance, because obviously if you were, let's take your changing rooms, if they were a bit grubby and dirty before, and you've done a good deep clean, and you can show like a big line in the sand like some of our social media photos show, that's great, obviously. But on the other hand, you might think, well, I'm a bit nervous about sharing that, because does that mean that they're going to be complaining about before? I think actually now they wouldn't. I think members would just want it to be better. But I would be talking in a little bit more depth about what the process you're doing and how you're quantifying it as well. And I think I'd be using words like enhanced cleaning rather than deep cleaning every day, because anybody that knows anything about deep cleaning is just going to look at that and sort of roll their eyes. There is a product that we're recommending called Fresh Check, which is like a spray, and it will you can spray it onto a surface and it'll show you how clean the surface is. Because one of the challenges here is that if you take gym equipment handles, the contamination is going to be sweat, which actually you can't see. So you could clean it with whatever, a sanitizing wipe, and it would look clean, but doesn't actually mean it is clean. So something like this product you can spray on, and then it'll actually show you if it's clean or not. And then clearly if it's not clean, you can then go back to the drawing board and figure out a better process to use.
Yeah, which is about the adapting as we go forwards. So the next question from the group is, how do we, we've reopened, we've done deep cleans or enhanced cleans or whatever else. How do we ensure that clubs keep this up? Because sure, it's someone's first visit back today, but in a month's time or in 3 months' time, it's going to be someone else's first visit back, or someone else's first visit. So how do we keep the momentum up?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the key point. I think there's a lot of time and effort been put into getting ready, doing a spring clean or however you deem it. But actually, that doesn't count for anything for the member who hasn't turned up on day one and comes in on day 23, unless you've maintained that standard at the right level. So the advice I give to people, we've developed like a bit of a framework, an acronym called ROTAs, which is all about how to do good cleaning. So you can check this out on our website, or I'll put a link to the little graphic below in the comments. But it's R is for regularity, so cleaning surfaces frequently enough. O is organisation, so that's all about managing and knowing what outcomes you're looking to achieve. P is time, so you can't clean a changing village in a local authority leisure centre in 10 minutes. Not possible. A is ability, so that's all about the staff and motivating them and training them so that they kind of are engaged in the process and want to do a good job. And S is the system, so that means equipping those staff with the right stuff. So, chemicals, equipment, as well as PPE and things like that. So if you can get all those things right, kind of holistically, then that's a good way of trying to maintain standards over time.
Brilliant. Okay, yeah, I love a good acronym. So ROTAs, we'll put, well, yes, you can pop a link underneath to that video or download, whatever. So to wrap up, what would be your top 3 tips, then, Christian, for ensuring facilities are COVID safe?
COVID safe, COVID secure. The buzzword of our time. I think the first thing is to really understand what cleaning is, what disinfection is, what sanitization is, so that you know what you're doing and why. Secondly, I would say you've got to be quantifying this in some way and being able to prove that you're doing it, both from the perspective of looking yourself in the mirror, but also thinking about if any members question it, well, here you go, here's some proof. And of course, as we said, in the event of any issues or challenges in the future, and from a legal perspective, you've got that evidence in your back pocket. And then I think the third thing is just really underscoring that it's that maintenance piece. And I think if we look at the sector, in the past, that's kind of where it's not done as well when it comes to cleaning. I think, that maintaining those standards at the right level day after day after day has been a challenge in those barefoot and wet areas of the clubs in particular. So I think, just thinking about what you can do to achieve that and drive that standard over time is definitely something to bear in mind. Brilliant.
Well, that's really great advice. Really glad to have you on as Ask the Expert at last. If there are any other questions that after watching this that you think of, then please drop them in the comments below, or get in touch with Christian direct to ask anything else.
Definitely, happy to help.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, thank you very much for coming on, Christian.
Cheers, Guy. Thanks a lot.